Hey, hi Louis, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, and you? How are you?
Good, nice to have you with us today. And with that, hi everyone. So happy to have you all here. For those of you live today, or those of you who are going to be watching this later on. As you read from the title today, Luis Felipe, our mentor today over here, once considered becoming a DJ before becoming a visionary in the AEC world with BIM. Well, I have a slight thing to, talk about. It's not entirely true because he did more than that actually. And in this live today, for the next 1 hour, we are going to be talking to him directly about his journey. And I would love for you all to, hang in tight, watch till the end because there are a lot of takeaways from this discussion today. And with that, I'm Vipanchi from Novator. And at Novator, we are on a mission to build people who build a better tomorrow. And we do that by empowering professionals like you with the skills to create innovative, impactful futures. Through Novator series, we'll explore the unique career paths of AC leaders like Luis, their triumphs, challenges, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Today, we have the privilege of hosting Luis Felipe Lima, a visionary architect and BIM leader from Salvador, Brazil. Luis is reshaping how we think about architecture, construction, and technology as a seasoned BIM specialist at Better Pros, a multidisciplinary leader at Senai Clamitech, and a co mentor at Novator. Luis is part of driving the digital transformation of AC. And with that, welcome, Luis. We're so excited to be having you here today. And before we begin, also, this is for everyone who will be again watching this discussion. Please do drop in the chat while we're talking what you imagined you would be 10 years ago, maybe a pilot, a chef, or even a rock star. I'll share mine. I once, before even entering architecture or the tech landscape, I once imagined to be a graphic designer. And with that, we'll ask now Luis to, share his journey. And the first question, Luis, for you that everyone is very excited to hear and understand more about is when we rewind back to when you were 18 years old, we really want to understand what was going on in your mind and how did architecture even come into the picture for you?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for being here, and I'm very excited to be here. Well, when I was 18 years old, I was a young man just trying to get to know better myself and trying to know what I really wanted. I was not sure of what I wanted in my professional life, and I was trying to see all the big picture and all the opportunities that I had at the time. And the opportunity that came up with for my life was basically that my father is a pretty successful realtor here in Salvador, Bahia. And with that, I saw the opportunity of joining in the real estate business, and I started with that. Shortly after I joined that business, a year after, when I was kind of 19 or 20, something like that, my child was born and my son was born. And well, worries came into my life. These kind of worries came into my life. I have to get a lot mature to deal with fatherhood and all those things. And that was really good for me in the sense of the responsibility that the life gave to me. And well, after that, I always was wondering what should I do for graduation? Not because I joined the real estate business that I was limited to it. Actually, I wanted to make a graduation, but I didn't know for sure what to do. Well, at the same point of at that point in my life, I was also very into healthy things and going to the gym and all those things. So the first thing that I was trying to do as a graduation was physiotherapy. So I joined the physiotherapy university. I've made like a year, but well, it just didn't work out for me. I thought that this was not my purpose here as a professional. And well, I've changed and I just said, okay, let me take a year off of graduation and university. Let me just focus on my work. I have my child. I have to provide those things. So let me just try to not be so much in a hurry and just think a little bit more. And that's what I did. I just took a year off of trying to find something. I was really kind of thinking, oh my God, am I like late for something? Am I going to be late to join a graduation or something like that? And that was some of the worries that I had in at the time. And well, a year later, I joined into law school with the influence of my father. And well, I liked, but not much. I I thought that the environment was not for me, the law environment, I think. And I was not kind. It wasn't like for my identity, I guess. So again, one more year, I said, okay, no problem, no rush. Be patient, take another year off, think about what you want to do. I was good at what I was doing. I was a good realtor. I was selling houses, selling apartments. So I was doing good with that. And then, well, in the office where I work, the secretary, which was my friend, she said, "Well, why don't you do architecture? I think that you are very, I don't know, I think that you have the kind of way of living and thinking that would be great for you." And I say that because it's one thing that I was thinking about doing, but I think that you would be a good architect. And I was, well, I never thought about that. Well, let me give some thoughts on that. So I just going like just the next day I was just researching about it and trying to get to know better the profession. And I used to know a lot of architects because I was a realtor and I worked with the selling of sites, land sites also. There I well, I got to know a little bit more and then I convinced myself, yeah, that would be good because well, there is some creativity as I liked a lot about music. So as they say, architecture is concrete music, right? Uh, so I thought, well, that's good. That's one thing that I would mind to do all of my life, I think. And well, it's also very impactful, right? It's like architecture shapes the world, shapes the world as we live. So I thought, well, this is and I want to do great things. I had that kind of ambition of making some kind of difference. So so it fits perfectly into my life and as I joined, I was just discovering that I made the right choice, and all the time that I took to get to know myself and to know my identity, just worth it.
Interesting. I think, what I really love is how you talked about the fact that obviously there was a lot of family, there was some sort of family responsibilities. And I think all
Yeah.
of us can relate to it at some point because we're always thinking about what's next and we are always feeling impatient about, finding that one thing
Yes.
to stick to. I really
Mhm.
want to understand a bit more about, how you dealt with it in terms of when you mentioned that I was being patient to try out things to still explore because at the end of the day all of these things were leading me sort of looking at the creative side of you or the more objective side of you through the realtor experience, etc. So just to talk about a bit from how you dealt with it mentally as well.
Yeah. So the thing about trying to find myself and being patient is that, well, we always think on our lives in ideally, right? So we always are thinking like, let's follow like a cascade, like really something. I do that, then I do that, then I do that. So we are influenced by the society to think about our lives like that, but life is not like that. Definitely it's not. So, and of course, to deal with that, I had to have some resilience, I guess, and be really patient about getting to know myself. And I, well, sometimes I had some some thoughts like, oh my God, I'm so late. I'm not in the graduation. All my, and you see all other people in, like really going to graduate and getting married and all those things. And you say like, oh, I think that I should be doing that. But well, actually, I just understood that I had my path and each one had theirs. So there's no way of comparing my life with the other ones. And that's something that I used to do as I was learning how to live it. And well, and just I realized that was not the way that I wanted to live, and I want to make my own path. And as I understood that and took that mindset to my life, all the things just went in their way, and things just would flow normally as with my intuition and with my things. I think that all of that was just a lot of intuition and believing that I was doing the right thing, even it sounds not the right thing because of the idealistic way that we have for our lives. So it was a lot of resilience and patience actually. When I say patience is because we are bombarded with all those things today, and well, you have to deal with that, of course. So I think that that was it. That was how I dealt with that.
And Luis, to for us to understand, at what age was it when you were doing all of this, and at what point did your friends say that okay, you should maybe try out architecture?
Yeah, I joined architecture when I was 24, 23, 23, yes, 23 years old. And I was a realtor. So I was kind of understanding already how the construction market works.
Hmm.
And I had a lot lot of knowledge into the commercial part of the industry, of the AEC industry. So that gave me, I think, a kind of a differential when joined the the architectural school, because I understood or I already understood the things about the market, the connections and all the things, how it works, right? So that was for me an advantage, I think. And that was the time that I joined. And well, after I joined architecture, it took me less than a semester to realize that that was the right choice. It was like in the end of the first semester, and I had some very high grades on my first semester, and I was thinking, okay, that's what I want to do. And well, that was when I just realized that this was my thing, I would say. Mhm.
Nice. I think the way you talk about it, there must have been, some sort of like a light bulb moment, or a moment where you just
Exactly.
suddenly it
Yeah.
hits you that, oh, this is what I've been leading up.
Eureka, that's it. Yes. It was like that.
And
Yeah.
if you could, maybe transport yourself back into those shoes, what was that moment, or was it simply because you were doing really well, acing your semester, that you just thought that, okay, this is it?
Yeah, that was the moment. I just when I joined, I realized in the first semester, at the end of the first semester, that was something that I really liked. And as the course was running and I was doing it, I think that there was another point that was a really another light bulb moment, as we talked. It was when I do it in a inter a cultural exchange where I just traveled to Spain and lived there for 1 year. And I studied at the Universidade Europeia de Madrid, and it was really it blew my mind because it was another country. Spain has a lot of good architects and a lot of architects that I admire. And when I went to Europe, I just traveling. I try to travel as much as I can, searching for architecture and just to get to know architecture. I even did it like by my own. I was just so in love with the idea of getting to know all those things like in person that I didn't mind to do it alone. So so everybody was partying on the in the cultural exchange, and I was traveling and searching for architecture. And I think that one of the advantages also of doing kind of a late uh, I joined it late, my graduation, was that I had another maturity. Of course, I have a child, I have my son, and I have my son. So I was with another maturity. I was like really wanting to go further and dedicate myself. And that's how it went all the during all my university throughout all the course, I think.
Got it. And with that, you were talking about how the real estate experience and the other experiences added up to a certain perception of what this industry is about and architecture. So if you could compare, before architecture, you must have had a certain perspective. During and then towards the end, how did your perception about architecture also evolve? And what are those things that sort of added up to this evolution?
Sure. Throughout the course, well, here in Brazil, there is a particular thinking about architecture. Uh, Whenever people here think about architecture, they think about interior design and things like that. And it's very related to interior design. And interior design was something that I liked, but at the same time was not what made my heart go wild, like really, you know, I was not passionate about it. And I was really passionate about construction and how things were built and how can we do it better. And I always thought, and my mindset in my life, I think, even when I was a realtor, I was always thinking about how we can do it better. Just to give you a glimpse of how I thought on those things when I was a realtor. For example, a client wanted to know if the apartment is oriented for the east or for the west or something like that. And well, realtors didn't know much about these things, and I always had like a kind of on my cell phone the busla that I forgot the word in English, but
The
it's
compass.
the yeah, the compass, exactly. So the compass there for the orientation. So I was always trying to make things better, actually. So even when I was a realtor, so and I carried me all my life with that idea. And basically, in architecture, I was shaping my mind as how to do things better always. So that went also, that mindset came with me and stayed until this day of how we can do things better. And as I get to know BIM in the middle of my course, when I was in Spain, I started to study really excited about this technology, these methodologies and all those things. And I was getting to know all of that, and I just jumped in the cliff of BIM, I would say, and went all the way to get to know better because I knew that this was the better way to move and to make better buildings and more effectively and more efficient and well all those things that we already know today. And well, that was it. I was thinking about that. And when I reached the BIM, everybody in the university was not excited about it. They even didn't know, actually. It was something that was still kind of new for everyone, even if, well, it was already old. But with that, people started noticing that my projects looked a little bit better, or things like that, the representation and all those things. And I just got excited with that. And I started even giving classes to my colleagues. So about BIM. So that's what when started also about giving classes. So now I think that 10 years of teaching BIM now. So since university, of course, I was not the professional that I am today, but well, I was teaching BIM softwares there, and it was pretty exciting because that shaped also my understanding of BIM and also challenged me because when we are teaching, people want to do different things, and as as they want to do different kinds of projects, we face different challenges, and I was facing them all with them, and that made me evolve pretty fast, I think, in the software, and that was actually more rewarding for me. That was the more rewardable part, I would say, when I was teaching in the university. So at the end of my course, I was already mastering the software, and everybody reached me out for wanting to get to know how things are done there. So it was pretty exciting, and that's how my mind was being shaped during the course of architecture.
Got it. So, I think one thing that when we have been, having a conversation earlier as well, what really stood out was one line that you had talked about, wherein you talked how you suddenly started viewing buildings in terms of data. And somewhere I feel like, throughout your journey, what's really exciting is that how you're always diverging, exploring a lot of things with the continuous aspect of how can something be made better. And as you continue to do so, you sort of arrive at these opportunities and sort of take it forward from there. So when you said, you sort of dived into the world of BIM, again, what was it that you got to learn that excited you about it? Because otherwise it's just considered, let's say, a software or something, boring. Or what was that point where you suddenly started viewing data in buildings, and what was that
Yeah.
like?
Sure. Well, at university, when I started to use Bing software, I didn't quite get what BIM was actually. Of course, I was just a student. I was not very into it. So as I was exploring the world of BIM and well, understanding that it was a methodology that involves politics, that involves people, that involves uh, technology and all those things, I kind of understood that was much bigger than what I thought, and that data had a crucial role into BIM actually, and that was when I just came out from university. I just graduated. I understood that, well, actually, I was kind of understanding and already now understood that, well, BIM is more data than ever, actually. So everything about BIM is data, and we need to visualize now geometry not just as a representation, geometrical representation, or a drawing or something like that, but also as data, not so the whole content, not only the drawings, but all these things are data, and to handle such data, such amount of data that we have in buildings, we need to get to know uh, how to manage data properly, I think. And that was when I something ticked in my mind, and I just thought, okay, so, well, if everything is data, that's also applied even to my life. So today I see data in all of the things, actually. So because I think that as much as we have data, we will have, therefore, if we use it properly, that will build knowledge for us. So I think that the outcome that I want when I visualize things as data is basically because I want to acquire some kind of knowledge to make a decision better. So that was when I started visualizing that uh, we were entering really in the era of data, like on the construction and well, in all the fields of the world, actually, I would say all industries.
Got it. For someone who, hasn't worked in this field as well, when you talk about it so passionately, could you give an example for where maybe you've used it and it has changed the perspective of maybe solving for some relevant problems, or sort of made a project be approached in a different way?
Yeah, when I was working with architecture in architectural offices, well, one of the professional experiences that I have marked me a lot. That was my first international experience. Actually, it was a company from Miami, and I started working there as a BIM modeler, and they were pretty evolved in BIM. And a lot of the things that I have today, even in my way of working, I get inspired by my leader at the time and all the people that I work with. It was really efficient the way that they worked. They were really working pretty hard, and that was really inspiring to me. And I also had that kind of way of working. And basically, when I was there, I kind of understood that the role of data in being is even much higher, and then I had to start also become more efficient. I started to see that I was doing some things that was really taking a long time, and I always think, okay, let's try to make it better. And how can I make it better? So I get used to know other tools and such as Dynamo and things like that. And I saw that I could be much more efficient using these kind of tools. And that was the time that I was thinking, well, that's the way that I should go now. I think that I learned a lot about BIM, but if I want to evolve even more on that, I have to understand the foundation of BIM, which is data and how to handle data efficiently. Of course, we have in buildings extremely huge amount of data that we need to handle, that we need to make it consistent throughout all the project. So this always is some things that worries us as architects, and it takes a lot of time to review drawings and review all those things. And well, these all those things are pretty artisanal and pretty manual. And I was well, sometimes I wanted to have more time to make some creativity, some to use my creativity much better. And I don't have that time because I'm worried about all those things. And well, that was my point of view, and that was when I just tried to be more efficient when handling data, I would say.
Got it. I think that was a nice point of how it's not just about making the process of design or architecture just about the technical or the objective parts, but it actually gives you more time for the creative side as well. I think that was an interesting point. And again, going back to, obviously you've had a wonderful professional career, and obviously it's still going on. And what you talked about interestingly once was around the when between, how you are building a niche between data science, project management, and BIM. I think that's a very interesting way to look at things, and would love for you to, elaborate on how you arrived at that. And because I think there's a lot of takeaway for anyone who watches this, to understand how do you develop your niche specifically.
Sure, sure. Yeah, well, as I was in that office that I just told you, and that is based on Miami, I was, well, as I joined as a BIM modeler, and well, at the time I was seeing all these project managers working with me, and I was thinking, wow, I really would like to be a project manager. I think it's extremely interesting to get to know the process more intrinsically, and try to manage all those things and mitigate risks, and try to have things under control during the process, which is extremely challenging. And I love challenges. So so for me it was okay. That would be very nice to get to know better. So after that, I joined the project management postgrad at University of São Paulo. And when I joined that course, I was really excited about it. And again, I followed my intuition. I just went with the things that I was seeing in the industry, and I wanted, of course, to have a better wage at the same time, and well, all those things drove me to get to know project management. And well, as I was going throughout the course, I just realized again, another light bulb moment. Okay, that is it. I just found the thing that I would love to do. I was already being a kind of a leader in my company because I already had my company as my relationship, my professional relationship with that office just evolved. So I was not anymore an architect. I was a company with architects working for that company. And therefore, I was a leader. I had a team. I almost had 14 architects working with me. So it was, I never imagined such a huge team. And I was like, oh my God, I need to handle that much better. And how can I do it better? How can I do it better again? So I just went to project management and saw how we can manage people, how we can manage the scope and all those things. And well, it just after that, I realized, okay, and how can I make the project management and BIM much better? And well, data science came with my mind. And of course, the world was already talking about data in all those fields, in all the fields and all those things. And also a point that I remind me a lot, that was a point that I said, okay, that is the thing about data science, was when I just saw a McKinsey research about technology throughout different sectors of the industry. And I just realized that AC industry was like pretty much artisanal yet, if compared to agriculture, for example. So agricultural efficiency was extremely high. You know, there is a lot of robots and all those things. In my country, agriculture extremely strong market as well. So for me, I said, okay, so here is a place that where it needs to handle data better to make more things more efficiently. And I think that if I join BIM, project management, and data science, I can make a difference in that industry. And that crossed my mind at that point when I saw that article, and gave me the intuition of go and just learn about data science. Because, well, if BIM is data, well, I need to get to know how data science to handle better and properly the data of the buildings, and therefore make a more efficient buildings and a more efficient process of construction for those buildings as well. So that was the point where I reached, and I just saw. And I think it was also an influence of a lot of professionals that I was following in social media as well. I'm always like uh, tuned to all the news of the AC industry and technology and startups and those things. So I think all of those things drove me to that point, and to that conjunction of themes, I would say.
Got it. I think it's interesting how through this journey that you're describing, you're sort of discovering, you're becoming more specialized in certain things. And I think like I can almost visualize a funnel where, you've tried out a lot of things and then you're finding what's
Right.
working for you. I think that's a wonderful way for, anyone to start mapping out their careers in terms of identifying out of the multiple things, what is that one thing that is like, let's say, common between them as well. So I think that brings me to one question, actually two questions. So the first thing is, whenever I personally also as an architect hear things like data science, um, I mean, I think all of us freak out a bit because, suddenly it's way
Yeah.
out of what we've been taught or we've been hearing. So, are you a genius, or was it something anyone can do?
No, actually, well, that's another thing, right? We think that, well, these things are just for geniuses or things like that, but not at all. Actually, I'm just a normal guy struggling to get to know things. And actually, I think that I have some some difficulties in learning some things where, but well, I just put some effort to it, I think. If I read a text and I think it's difficult for me, I just read it twice or three times or four times. How many times I will need? It doesn't matter. I just want to understand it. So it's just putting some effort to it. And well, I also was freaked out, like, oh my God, all these codes, all those things. How can I understand that? And that was it. I just made one course, then another course, then another one, then another one. And I just got to know and got the confidence of doing it by exhaustively learning it, I would say, and just not giving up about it.
Thank you. I think that was a very honest answer about that question. Interestingly enough, you also talked about a report that you read and how you saw, you've been sort of keeping up with online content creators as well as these kind of different data and reports with respect to what's next in the industry. From where, you stand currently in terms of having seen the industry evolve in the last decade or so, what do you think is the future? Let's say for the next 10 years for the AEC industry, where do you think that opportunity is there, trends are there, especially for the early career professionals who will want to learn about this?
Sure. Well, at 2021, my guess was AI, and I stick with it until this day, I think. There was not GPT, I think, yet, 2020, 2021. And but already there was a lot of things coming up from Google, from all these big tech companies, and I was very tuned and seeing those things happening. And well, I'm sure that AI will have a huge impact in society. And this is just beginning, I think. And if you want to, well, if you're a young architect and you want to thrive in the market, I would suggest to you to stay tuned to all the technology. The world is changing pretty fast, and with the AI now, this will become even faster than ever. So I don't know how we will handle. It will be extremely challenging, I think. And well, we will see some surprises on the next decade, I guess. Uh, I mean, it's really challenging to to try to understand what will happen in the next decade because it's like a huge doubt now, right? Because of the evolving the velocity of things as they are evolving right now.
Is there something that, again, like I think when we say AI, all of us have different perceptions of what it might, our imagination start running wild as well with respect to what it might mean. For you specifically, as an actionable advice, what is something that you are doing to also keep up with this particular pace, or, just to understand more about these technologies?
Yeah, sure. Well, in data science, we have a lot of AI actually. So my understanding, I tried to understood first what was the impact that could have the positive impact that could have in my career by using AI, becoming more efficient, all those things. And also, how can I understand what is happening now? So my 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 thoughts was just focused on how to understand and understanding how AI will affect us and how can I appropriate part of that knowledge and by benefit to evolve as a person, but also as a professional. And I see AI today as a extensible knowledge. We can extend our knowledge. Actually, it's like an assistant. I use it as an assistant today. Most of the AI technologies that are available in the market, and I think that there are still a lot to be developed on the field. I think we're just starting. So I also have some kind of fear about AI. I think that everyone does at the same point that has it, the excitement. But well, I always very positive about things, and that's not different with AI. I think that it came to make things better, and I think that the ones that appropriate in their benefit sooner, it will also get some advantage at the future, I think.
Got it. And Luis, with that, another part of, your what you currently do, one side of it is obviously being a professional and working within this entire field. But the other is also the mentorship experiences that you have across university as well as mentoring with Novator. Would just like to, maybe touch a bit upon your mentorship experience, and especially the one that, you've been actually not just taking sessions, but actually building the program at Novator as well with us. So would love to understand from your perspective as a mentor, how what the program is about, and also how do I as a student make the most of it.
Sure. Well, Novator program is for me. I've participated in a lot of postgrads and programs. So and there is a big differential in the Novator program because we try to be at the forefront of the technology and the processes. So I think that my way of thinking of making things better resonate also uh, with the program, I would say even. So I think that everyone innovator are doing their best at what they are doing, and I think that this program is one of the best I think that we have for BIM, and I mean that really, I mean it, and well, I think that everyone that join Innovator will see it during the course because you deal with tools and things that will, well, most of the courses you won't be learning those tools. And the way that we do it extremely focused on practical lessons. So that is extremely interesting to for the ones that want to get confident and join the BIM field inside the AEC industry. So I encourage you all to go and get to know better the program and also join us for this journey of learning BIM. I think that it will be extremely rewarding for you, for those who are watching and want to learn more and more about BIM.
Got it. I think, Luis, thank you, for sharing your experience being a mentor. And with that, we'll move into our last discussion. So we have some questions that we collected from, our Instagram audience as well, and from, other students that are studying with us. So a lot of questions. We'll ask them very quickly. Would love for you to, maybe give quick responses, one word or two words at max with respect to, these quick questions. If there is anything else that you want to elaborate on, you can definitely do so. So the first one is, and this is going to be very fast, so you can buckle up. What's one piece of advice you'd give to aspiring AC professionals?
Well, nowadays, stay tuned, always stay tuned, because things are changing pretty fast.
Okay. What's your superpower, Luis?
Well, my superpower, well, I'm human. That's my superpower.
Okay. Build a better tomorrow, a picture that comes to your mind.
Well, a picture that comes to my mind, better tomorrow. I think that more equality, more more joy in the world, less wars. I think that's what comes to my mind to build a better tomorrow, a more human tomorrow, I would say.
That's lovely. And what is AC for you?
Well, AC is one of the most impactful industry in our lives.
Yes, I think I agree with that. I think from being born to towards the end of our life, we all live in spaces at the end of the day. Awesome. If you were starting your career today, what would you focus on first?
Well, I would focus on the basics.
Okay, basics like.
Mhm. I would focus on the basics like like getting to know the basics of architecture, of construction, not not be in a rush, I would say, if I started today. So try to just focus first things first, as they say, right? So just to be patient and just evolve and follow the intuition, I would say.
Got it. And looking back, is there anything you would have done differently in your career or your journey?
Well, I'm actually pretty satisfied with my career today. Maybe 5 years ago, I wouldn't say the same thing, but as I was going out from college and all the, well, Brazil was in crisis and all those things. But well, I think that what I have done differently, I actually I cannot see anything that I would done differently. I think that I all that I've done was perfectly to by this day was just perfectly fine. I think I'm pretty satisfied with it. And
I'm glad that's the answer. I'm glad.
yes, I think really honestly, really honestly, I think that for more, as I said, as my path is different, right? And I think that that made me what I am today, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. So
Yeah,
I
I
wouldn't
think
do
I think that's
different.
a great place to be at. I think especially like for me, the fact that because you were patient and you explored, I think that also contributes a lot to just being very happy with a lot of
Yes,
decisions.
sure,
That's
sure.
wonderful. And the last question would be one skill that every early career professional should focus on.
Okay. So what skill? Uh, well, the skill would be, well, you should focus on more human skills actually, because, well, I think that things that are intangible, like communication. and presenting yourself, and I think that be 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 getting to know yourself as a professional, but also as a human, that will give you a meaningful impact in all the areas of your life, not only professionally, I think. And I think that sometimes we are focused on skills like technology and all those things, and they are extremely important. Uh, uh, but I think that we need more to focus on ourselves, on the skills in human skills like communication and relationships and all those things, because our professional in our lives depends on that and how these things are developed during our lives. So if we develop them well, and if we know how to communicate, if we know how to relate with people, that is the most important thing, I would say.
Got it. I think be human was, one of the main takeaways from the last set of questions for sure. And thank you for that, Luis. I think, whenever I talk to you, I think there is a very sort of interesting way that you look at things, sort of the empathy that you hold with respect to looking at the world around you, be it tech or be it AEC. I think that always stands out for me. So it's that for me is the biggest takeaway. And with that, we'll close our live discussion for today. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible story and insights with us. I think for me, the key takeaways was about being empathetic, being patient, about discovering your career path, figuring out what really works for you, because at the end of the day, that's what your life is going to be.
Yeah.
80% of your life is going to be around what you are building and doing. I think, and apart from that, obviously uh, having been tuned to what's next as well, and somewhere grabbing the opportunities where it presents to you, and not waiting for the perfect moment to turn up. So I think these are definitely key takeaways for me. And I hope everyone who is again going to be watching this at any time will feel also inspired to take away these bold steps somewhere in their own career. And before we sign off, I would also like for everyone who again watches this to drop in their key takeaways within the comments in YouTube, so that we can definitely reply to that. And until next time, please keep building, stay inspired, and see you guys soon. Luis, anything you would like to add?
Well, I just wanted to wish for all of you that are watching, well, uh, I hope that the my history have helped you to also make better decisions. And I'm also, well, I'm pretty much available to communication if you want. You can find me on LinkedIn and all these platforms. I'm open to have a chat or a talk to any of you. So feel free to reach me out if you want to. And well, wish you all a great day, and thank you all for watching here the first uh, Novator Talks. And well, and it's a pleasure. It's a big pleasure to be here. And I would like also to thank you, Pipanchi, for this opportunity of showing my history and the challenges and also the learnings that I had throughout my life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and bye bye. See you.